Do you have any advice for students that are coming here, moving to Canada for university, or for racialized students that are coming to graduate school and experiencing that culture shock?
Um, well, I know people have probably heard this so many times, but believe in yourself, which is very true. Um, because if you don't believe in yourself, a lot of the culture shock that you would experience would definitely break you, and it would be so easy for you to give up and just, you just want to throw in the towel i- as soon as, possible. But just holding on to um, that faith in yourself would definitely pay off.
I guess a lot of times, like if you grow up in a place where you feel safe and comfortable and that kind of thing, there isn't really a need to believe in yourself as much because
Yeah,
everyone's just kind of pushing you along and you're just
yeah,
going with the flow and you don't really need to know why you're doing it. But as soon
yeah,
as you're in somewhere where you feel resistance, then it's really
yeah,
important to know, right?
yeah. It's very important to know that you can achieve anything and try. I know it's always very hard for especially like newcomers when people say try and network, try and make friends. It's very hard because it's like, where do I start? Right? But I would say start anywhere. It doesn't have to be your classmate in like your direct class. It could be someone from, let's say, another department, another program, and just try and make friends and good friends. The like kind of friends that would actually support you and would not look at you like you're dumb or, try to belittle you. And when you have those friends, keep them really close. Yeah.
That's so hard. I feel like that's so hard. I'm just imagining myself in graduate school. Like that would be that would be so hard to try to like put myself out there like that.
Yeah. I don't know how to make friends. That's something I struggle with. Um,
Me
I'm
too.
more I'm more of like, if you put me in a room, I'll be very quiet, just observing everyone. I won't say a word, but once I'm able to find that person that I click with, I could be very, very noisy around that person. And it's like I'm a different person. So I remember in grad school, like I said, it was very difficult for me to make friends. And I made a very good friend. We're still very close friends when we're almost done with the program. How
That's
sad.
great.
I wish we were friends right from the very beginning. And just like you're saying, we started talking in the bus because we're stuck with each other. So somehow we started talking and then we became close. And then we found out later, because when I see her, I'm always like, she looks like she has everything going perfectly well for her, right? And she said she thought the same thing about me. But we're both having our own, struggles with grad school, right? And we didn't share with anyone. We only got to share when we're done with the program. But then we became very close and we're still very close till date. She's like one of my very, very best friends. Um, so I would just say try and make friends with good people.
It
People,
goes along with believing in yourself
yeah,
too, right?
yeah,
Because you have to believe in yourself enough to reach out or take a little bit of a risk and
yeah,
maybe admit that you're struggling sometimes. That can be
yeah.
really hard.
That was what I was gonna say next. Like, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you're struggling and you need help. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. Yeah, some people are gonna give you that stare that we're talking about, like, why are you asking me questions? Kind of look, but um, don't be afraid to ask for help. You'll be surprised. People are also going through what you're going through. For like racialized students, don't be afraid to ask that professor for help. If, let's say, there's a professor that you feel um, would listen to you, go talk to that person. Ask for help because not just for, it's also good for your own mental health too, right? because having to deal with all of this alone as a newcomer is a lot. And being far away from home, being far away from that support system you were talking about earlier, Monica. So just asking for help, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't be ashamed of that. Go for
Maybe,
what you want.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, can you explain a little bit more about Go for What You Want?
So let's say, let's say for example, the social work program, we always have placements, right? Um, as for me that I did the 2 year program. So you have the placement, you have two placements. The first placement, which would be in the winter semester, and then the second placement, which would be in the summer. So if you already know what you want to do, you maybe you want to do clinical social work or you want to work with community, and there's a place that you would like to work or like an area of research that you're interested in, and that's what you really want, go for it, right? Don't take no for an answer. Don't ever doubt yourself. If you don't go for it, and let's say you're done with the program, you're always going to think, what could I have done differently, right? Yeah.
That's another unspoken rule in graduate school, I think, as well, that you need to make your own opportunities to do
Yeah.
extra things, that they won't always be presented to you. In a lot of ways, that's not fair to people who are new immigrants and don't understand kind of that
Mhm.
culture. But for people listening, it is
Yeah.
that is something. So if you have an interest, go explore it
Yeah. Go
more.
explore it. Don't think because, okay, because I'm an immigrant, maybe this would not be applicable to me, or like, oh, I'm an immigrant, maybe I should dream little, like I shouldn't dream too big, right? Because, oh, this would never come my way because they would have to think about, the Canadians
Mhm.
first or think about other people before they think about me. You would be surprised. You'll be surprised that actually they are thinking about you, or they want people like you. They want people like you in that program. They want people like you in that profession because that would begin to create more room for them to have that conversation, right? About, being more inclusive, about having another way of knowing things or getting things done differently rather than how things have been done in the past and it's not working. So you never know, right?
Yeah, a lot of times there are the opportunities there, but you kind of need to ask for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, or kind of probe and see if they are there. Sometimes, like even with supervisors or professors, sometimes there'll be opportunities
Yeah.
to kind of explore more of your interests.
Hmm.
And it'd be a good idea to ask and see, oh, oh, I really like this topic that you were talking about. Is there any other
Yeah.
way I can volunteer with you to help out? Or how can I learn more about this? How can I pursue this further?
Yeah.
Sometimes people will help you out with that if you
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah. You know, yeah. If you don't ask, you never know. But I know sometimes it's really tough, especially for um, immigrants and like people of color to ask because they don't want to get rejected. Because there's just something about rejection that it just has a way of just making you go back into that hole, just crawl back into that hole. And when you get rejected, it's like,
It's like
okay,
that same brain pathway, right?
yeah,
Because you're trying to believe that it's okay to be yourself, but then
yeah,
then you try to take a step out, but as soon as you get rejected, you go straight back into the same
yeah.
mindset, right?
And you may never want to try again. So most times people are always very scared to ask for what they really want. And I'll say another advice I have is have fun, whatever you're doing. Canada, if you don't make time to have fun and if you don't try to make ways to have fun, you probably will never have fun in this country because it's so busy. Life here is like so busy. If people are not having two jobs, yeah, either in school, like there's something always happening, right? And it's so easy for you to not have a social life and be so yeah, so busy with things that I don't want to say they don't matter, but like, yeah,
There's a lot of things that aren't going to matter in a few years,
yeah,
right?
yeah, Yeah, so just have fun. If it's grad school you're in, have fun. If it's placement, try to have fun. Yeah, it's kind of like self-care.
For example, in placement, what are like the ways that you had fun in placement?
In placement, yeah, like trying to talk to um other students in your place of placement, right? I was very lucky to also find like other students from other graduate programs, like even from other schools, right, in Canada, doing their placements there. So we would, like, let's say during lunch break, we'll get time to like just have a quick chat, which was nice. And then just get to know them and just hear about their program and their school. And not, some of them were not even doing social work; they were in
Hmm.
like other programs. Yeah, and other ways to have fun. I feel like you just have to create that fun.
Yeah.
You have to make room for it.
A lot of times I stop myself from having fun because I'm so worried about what someone else is going to think, if
True.
they're seeing me or if I say the wrong thing
Hmm.
or that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And in
True.
order to have fun, you have to let go of that a little bit.
True. My supervisor at where I did my placement, really, I had two supervisors, really nice. So it was easy for me to have fun because sometimes like they were just really nice and easy going people that it didn't feel like, I mean, they wouldn't, like, when it's time to do the work, it's time to do the work. But then when it's time to also, like, talk like, like colleagues, they would also try to make you feel like you're on the same level with them
Oh,
and
that's so
try to bring
nice.
you in. Yeah. So it was really nice to get um that opportunity too. But I know that not many people have that opportunity.
Mhm.
But yeah.